Twitch's entertainment tonight.
Hearing this news was a gut punch to all of us who knew him. Twitch was a devoted husband, a loving father, and a beautiful soul who always shared his life.
Hello, everyone. We need to talk about what's been happening behind the scenes since we lost the incredible Steven Twitch boss. And trust me, this story is absolutely shocking. His brave wife, Allison Holker, is finally stepping up and confronting both Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy, yes, Diddy, about some major secrets they've been keeping. And get this, word on the street is that Diddy might have actually tried to silence her, but honey, Allison is not backing down. She wants answers, and honestly, the revelations coming out are absolutely mind-blowing. Let me tell you, this story has everything: scandal, power moves, and drama that will leave you speechless. So buckle up because we're about to dive deep into what's really going on, and trust me, it's about to get seriously messy. Let's really talk about Twitch's story and his wife's life because honestly, the truth behind everything is wild. And it's so much more complicated than those headlines would have you believe. Let's start with Twitch himself, our beloved dancer turned DJ. Before everything went sideways, Twitch was absolutely everywhere, especially on So You Think You Can Dance, where everyone just fell in love with him. People couldn't get enough of his energy, his charisma, and that pure, genuine passion he had for dancing. He was truly a bright light in the entertainment world. But honey, behind that million-dollar smile, there was so much more going on than any of us knew. Twitch wasn't just an entertainer. He was a family man, married to the talented Allison Holker, who was an incredible dancer and choreographer in her own right. Their love story? It was like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. Absolutely adorable and so supportive. They had these beautiful children together, and to everyone looking in, they seemed like the perfect family. But behind those picture-perfect moments, Twitch was fighting some serious battles. People close to him have revealed that he was under enormous pressure, especially after everything that went down with Ellen's show getting canceled and all that negative energy swirling around her. And poor Twitch, he was caught right in the middle of it all. His friend Taji Hall dropped this bombshell. Twitch had been dealing with so much stress over his connection to Ellen, especially when all that public backlash hit her. Being part of Ellen's world, it came with this massive spotlight, and when everything started falling apart, it just made things so much harder for him. People started questioning why Twitch was still standing by Ellen when everyone else was turning their backs on her. Can you imagine that kind of pressure? No one should have to handle that much weight on their shoulders. But we absolutely have to talk about Allison too, because her story just breaks my heart. On the surface, she was living what seemed like a dream life, working as this amazing choreographer, dancing her heart out, and becoming this huge name in the dance community. She and Twitch, they had this love story that everyone wished they could have. They were always sharing these beautiful moments of joy on social media, raising their gorgeous kids, supporting each other's dreams. But all that glamour and fame, it couldn't protect them from the storm that was brewing underneath it all. This wasn't just about the stress Twitch was going through. Allison was dealing with her own heavy emotions, especially knowing what was really happening behind those closed doors. And here's the thing that just gives me chills. Allison knew something was wrong before anyone else did. That day, she kept trying to reach Twitch, calling him over and over, and when she couldn't get him on the phone, she just knew. Her gut was telling her something terrible had happened, and sadly, she was right. After we lost Twitch, Allison had to somehow keep it together for the world while dealing with this devastating loss. But behind that brave face she showed everyone, she was dealing with her own fears. Sources say she knew exactly what had been going on in Twitch's life, all the pressure he was under with Ellen. And here's the part that really keeps me up at night. She allegedly knows everything about what Ellen and Diddy were involved in, but she's staying quiet. Why? To protect her babies. Allison's #1 priority has always been those children, and to make sure they had a secure future, she had to make some major moves. She sold their family home and moved to a new place for safety. Can you believe that? She was making sure her family was financially protected too, filing legal paperwork for half of Twitch's estate, including future royalties from So You Think You Can Dance and Step Up. She sold their house for $3.8 million and bought a new one for $5 million. This wasn't just about moving on from tragedy. This was about securing her children's future. Allison's been living with this fear, trying to protect her little ones while dealing with whatever dangerous secrets Twitch might have known. She's had to handle all of this with such grace, but let me tell you, this was no easy feat. The emotional toll, it must have been crushing, not just losing her husband, but living with the fear of what she knows about the people Twitch was connected to. Think about it. Allison's been quiet, but honey, the truth can only stay buried for so long. The internet is absolutely buzzing with suspicions. Some are saying Twitch knew way too much about what was really happening behind the scenes with Ellen and Diddy, and maybe, just maybe, that's what led to his tragic end. And Allison, she knows it all, but she's staying strong, protecting those kids from whatever dark reality might be lurking out there. So here we are, left with these questions that just won't go away. Twitch and Allison's lives were so much more complicated than any of us knew, and now that he's gone, the truth is starting to come out, piece by shocking piece. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and honestly, none of it adds up. But as more details emerge, we can't help but wonder, what did Twitch really know? What did Ellen and Diddy do? And why is Allison keeping so quiet about all of it? Let me tell you, there is so much more to this story than meets the eye. Allison just dropped this absolute bombshell about Ellen and Diddy that will leave your jaw on the floor. She's accusing them of being behind his tragic death. And get this, they allegedly forced her to be part of it. 2024 started with drama, and it's ending with even more chaos. Here's the tea. Apparently, Twitch uncovered some seriously dark secrets about Ellen's connections to Diddy's shady dealings, and when he refused to stay quiet about it, well, we all know what happened next. It's just devastating. And listen to this, Ellen and Diddy, they were tight back in the day. Word is that Ellen was always on that VIP list for Diddy's infamous parties, and in return, Diddy was practically living on her show. I mean, 17 appearances. That's not just some casual friendship. There was something deeper going on there. They were thick as thieves, and trust me, their connection was far from innocent.
Some of these are Ciroc, some of these are water, and you're just gonna, depending on if Mark gets the question right, every time he gets it wrong, you have to take a shot.
Okay.
All right? All right, Mark, on the periodic table.
Kentucky.
What is the...
Drink.
Now, you know.
Drink.
What's the symbol for water?
Albuquerque. Drink. H2O. H2O. I was late on the
It
buzzer.
was late
You
on
gotta
the,
drink.
he came after the buzzer, so.
H2O.
Okay, so
All
I
right.
pick one.
But wait, it gets even juicier. There was this one episode that had everyone talking. Ellen and Diddy completely slipped up and basically admitted to knowing all about these parties. They were talking about these gatherings like it was no big deal. But then Ellen tried to backtrack so fast, claiming she only knew about them from Diddy's song lyrics.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I
When
invite
is-
you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Let me tell you what people were saying about this clip. One person wrote, "The way they laugh together because they know most of the public have no idea what really goes on at these parties is sickening." Another one said, "That's a different type of party he told y'all there." But honey, we weren't born yesterday. The internet went absolutely wild digging into Ellen's past, and what they found, completely shocking. There's this video of Ellen practically running to her car when someone dared to ask her about the allegations against Diddy, the panic in her eyes. It was real. You know how people get when they're trying to hide something, their whole body language gives them away. And let me tell you, her nervous reaction had the internet absolutely burning up. But we're not done yet. Remember Ellen's ex-girlfriend, Anne Heche? This is where things take an even darker turn. Anne passed away just 4 months before Twitch. The timing? Super suspicious. Everyone thought Ellen was the one who ended things with Anne, but that might not be the whole story. The way everything unfolded just doesn't sit right. If you've been following along, you've probably noticed this pattern. Tragic and mysterious deaths, dark connections, and cover-ups. What's really going on here? How deep does this go? And let's not forget, Twitch was basically a pawn in this whole game. He had seen too much, uncovered too many secrets, and didn't play by their rules. And that seems to have been his fatal mistake. So we have to ask ourselves, was his death really just a tragic accident? Or are we looking at something much, much darker? If these allegations are true, how much longer can they keep the truth buried? This is one mess that's only getting messier, and trust me, we're just getting started. Just weeks before her tragic passing, Anne went on this podcast and dropped a bombshell that's still echoing through Hollywood. With absolutely no filter, Anne straight up said she walked away from Ellen, and not because of some petty drama. No, she accused Ellen of selling her soul to the industry. Can you believe this? She revealed that Ellen was completely obsessed with money. We're talking billions. Anne said Ellen wanted $60 billion. Yes, you heard that right. While all Anne wanted was love. But it gets even worse. Anne claimed that when she left, Ellen tried to have her committed to a mental facility, working behind the scenes to blackball her from the industry. Just imagine that, trying to completely shut someone down. Anne didn't hold back, saying, "The truth I spoke, I was hit more, buried more, despised more." And that wasn't even the end of it. Anne revealed something chilling. She said, "They tried to put me in an institution and 2 people wanted my truth buried so badly." She was ready to expose everything, no matter what it cost her. And then, just a few months later, Anne was involved in that horrific car accident that left her with second-degree burns all over her body. She was trapped in that burning car for 30 minutes before help arrived. The autopsy showed she passed from smoke inhalation, burns, and a broken sternum. But here's what's really suspicious. They found traces of benzodiazepines in her system from past use, but none during the crash. And then, just 4 months later, we lost Twitch. They found him at a motel, just a 15-minute walk from his house. Allison couldn't reach him after calling multiple times, and it was the motel supervisor who found him. The authorities quickly labeled it as self-inflicted, but honestly, the details are all over the place. First, there was no note. Then suddenly TMZ reports that there was one. Something's not adding up here. The truly chilling part? Allison knows everything about what went down with Ellen and Diddy, but she's staying silent to protect her children. Can you imagine living with that kind of fear? She had to sell their family home and move somewhere else just to feel safe. But she's not just running, she's securing her future. So now we have to ask ourselves, could Ellen and Diddy really be involved in Twitch's tragic passing? And what about Allison? Is she sitting on some serious secrets that could change everything? What really happened behind those closed doors? The truth is out there, and sooner or later it's going to come to light.